and the sun is just now coming into Scorpio. And I wanted to come on today and show my face, and I didn't even cover up. I finally got the end of whatever that was, the root of it. It was 2 deep seeds. There's been 2 others of you that have reached out to show me that in your world something happened with your left eye. You had a black eye, got hit with a ball. Somebody else, something else. I was getting pictures of covered left eyes from a lot of you that had injuries in your eyes because of this transit and this disconnection that is happening within the human template and the bone template and the energies that were running through it in the wheel. There's so much happening right now because we're shifting from Libra into Scorpio. And Libra is all about air, and it's the library, and it holds the constructs. It held in Libra. Libra holds ladders. Libra is the leader. Libra holds Leo templates. Libra rewires and rewrites Leo templates at the end when you're breaking the wheel. Libra is connected into Sagittarius more so than Scorpio, and Scorpio is just the in-between of air getting to fire. And in the original wheel, Scorpio was eagle. Now, if you ask any astrologist and you start talking about the 8th house, which in a cardinal wheel is where Scorpio is, they're gonna tell you that it has to do with other people's money. So the 8th house had to do with other people's money. And Scorpio is swampy water that connects Libra to Sagittarius in the higher houses, but in the lower houses, what it's doing is it's dictating what? Taurus timelines. So Scorpio, not eagle, Scorpio. Why? How did it become eagle from Scorpio? Because the alchemy became deeper. The alchemy, as all this was connecting in with the human race, as all of this was connecting into the body, as all of it became more hybridized and connected into the land and everything else that now we know is what our DNA projects, and it's what the human race is. Then, so all of that, so our whole entire timeline system was run by other people's money. Okay. In order to master the wheel, now this is where I want all of you to really pay attention, because see the part that's coming in and that I really want everyone to pay attention to for this Scorpio transit more than ever. What you're doing on this Scorpio transit is really tuning in to the shadow things of how the machine was running. Now, a lot of those functions still need to exist. This is the problem. The problem with all of us who are just now mastering Scorpio. Why are we having to master Scorpio? Because we changed a shit ton of timelines. If you were cutting timelines and you were clearing timelines and you did anything, if you said the word timeline, if you're just going about your little matrix life and you're like, I'm gonna jump on his timeline. If you have said the word, then you are involved with some Scorpio magic. Is it your magic? Yes. How can you tell? You have to define it. This is the part that my crew walked since 2021 that most people could not connect and understand what we were doing. Every day that passes now, what I'm seeing is that we were walking through the spell all the way down to Trump at McDonald's. That played out in Oklahoma 2021. Problem was, a girl got the job. Why was he there? It's Republic magic. I've been walking it the whole time. It's connected to an Amber Heard spell. But Elon made lemonade. Lemonade is Elon made. You don't think that me saying that is a big deal until you really understand the Babylonian concepts of it. And those of us who do understand the Babylonian concepts of it, then we're getting it and we're changing it midstream as soon as we get it now for you. How are you going to catch that jump? You already made plans for it in the past 7 years, but it's going to come back up to you subconsciously. You're going to be reminded about those events when they're coming back in to coil back up around you. You're going to be reminded of them by little subliminal messages and things that you've put on those events. It's going to be the song that comes on. It's going to be the color that they're wearing. It's going to be the outfit that you decided to put on to go. And then the song came on. And then it all matches up. It's going to be the Venetian things in those settings that are going to cue you to show you, okay, this is the Scorpio piece. This is what's trying to intertwine. Great. I don't press it away. Bring it in and control it. I don't know what lemonade is. I don't even know who Elon is. As far as I'm concerned, 1996 never happened as of this morning. So I don't even know. SpaceX and Elon Musk and Tesla never existed in the timelines that we're in. Because it's being shown to us exactly how the collective was used to make them. Not only that, last year, whenever I knew when Mars, last year, this time is whenever we balanced the wheel. So I know that this is what is happening this year. But whenever November is Thanksgiving, which is really another birthday for what you'd call Christ in a timeline, which is why they have us all watching TV and eating our hearts out. Because it's really lined up to an energy that we all need to be more like Christmas and not eating, exchanging, and being around each other and not gorging ourselves. There's a reason that that's set up where it is. Linked to the Indians and the princesses and spiritual energy that people always took for granted. So what we're showing the world, and what the world is having to get used to at the same time, is energetic beings who walk in a different set of time and how to do it, how to bridge time. There's a ghost behind you. I'm not surprised. Energetically, I kind of know that I'm inside a big divine masculine blister cell that's just now having to uncoil from Scorpio. Now, what happened last year is that when Mars was at 28 degrees Scorpio, I was like, wait a minute, because I got carried out into space to do my little cosmic thing that I hadn't had to do prior for a couple of years. And I got janked out there, and that's when I saw Mars was floating above Scorpio. And I was like, wait, what? Mars isn't even in the water. Why is it up there? And I stepped on it. I stepped on it as a big galactic bird. This is how I know that these timelines are going to be balanced, because this is what energy has to be balanced in cosmic space. But Mars wasn't even up in the water. It's like Mars was in the control tower watching us go through the water. Well, that's what happened last year. Now I know what happened was 2021, when we were breaking the wheel and I got kicked out of Nashville, Tennessee on at a townhome in an Airbnb that was on a golf course on a par 5 that we had made a sign that said Eagle on par 5, and all the connections that were going on, and how I was about to get a music contract because I was already at a producer and starting to record a song. Then all of a sudden I get kicked out of where I'm supposed to be for the next 3 weeks to connect that, and they send me into the hotel grid system, and then all of a sudden I'm in a hot tub with an Australian telling me that she just won the lottery and she's a carnivore. Mars was in Eagle. The masculine's been operating from a feminine energetic. Not this year, because we fixed it last year. From the feminine perspective, and from all these little subliminal messages that are going to show up in your reality to show you little signs, what I strongly suggest is that you go sit down these first couple of days of when Scorpio, as it is at 0 point, and write out a list of events or major things in your spiritual world that you know are set to change, and assign a color, assign a number, assign an animal to it, if not all three, and write them down, and keep and write them down, because you will forget. Write them down right now and set up your own key codes for this. So, because your reality is going to bring that in, and it's what you're going to see when that bubble approaches. Because when that bubble approaches in Scorpio, you're set to go along with the wave, but you're going to get woke up right before it to step into what feels like, kind of like a warrior angel type of energy. It's going to be one of those things that you're like, okay, I know I'm not supposed to go, but that's why I have to go. And the only reason that you have to go is because it was round up on your record in order to assign to someone else. And the only reason you need to know before you go is because consciously you're going to connect it. And you're getting the support from Venus and Sagittarius. Not only that, as the sun moves through Scorpio, because right now we're going to, this is how Scorpio works. Right now it's the elementals of it. We're getting all the pieces of it. We're kind of seeing how it all matches up. We are in our own spell right now. You're it. You're the sun. The sun is changing. Everything's set to change you. All of us are in the middle of our own organic spell work, putting ourselves back together from what was taken in Scorpio to harness Taurus and harness your toroidal field. As the sun moves through Scorpio, we've got Venus moving through Sagittarius. And let me tell you, once Venus connects in Antares, she's at 7 degrees right now. She's in the orb. 9 degrees. When Venus hits that 9 degrees, and it's going to send a direct freaking energy current. And it might not even be a ray anymore. I don't know what it's going to be. It's coming not even from Ophiuchus. It's coming from Sagittarius and Cepheus and source codes. So Venus is lining up right now on universal source codes in Antares. It's going to hit that directly to Aldebaran at 9 degrees in Gemini. It's going to connect this time for the first time ever, because this was the problem. This is how they kept the knowledge separated from you. And this is why Michael never could finish the damn thing, because he didn't have the rest of his dimensional bodies and this whole collective put together to figure out how he could do it by himself. Well, this is all the knowledge to show you that you weren't doing it by yourself and how to wield that. But for the first time in human history, that's the energy that Michael's gonna get in every single one of us. Once Venus moves past Antares, it's gonna start leaving the Ophiuchus gate. This is what we figured out. This is what the problem was. The whole thing was harnessed to Sagittarius. Sagittarius was made by Egypt and the burial grounds. Go look up the Valley of the Kings. It's the same exact freaking sequence of those burial chambers as Sagittarian stars that have shown up as your Sagittarius product. And that is the wheel that we all made together, that we're coming out of together. So the further that Venus gets from Antares, the more you're going to see everyone lose power. And then the more that you're going to see those of us who hold true power, and as their energy power is getting cut, as Venus moves further and further into towards Capricorn, at the same time that the sun is moving through Scorpio, it's going to hit that disconnection in the middle of Sagittarius from, nope, you can't use our energy and there ain't nothing out there. It's all down here now. And if you want any of it, you're going to have to come talk to one of us. Face to face. No screen. And no green. It's going to hit right there. Venus is going to start pulling away from Sagittarius as the sun is getting into the middle of Scorpio. And we're all going to be changing. We just came out of decay. We need a new word for resurrection, because this was way beyond resurrection. This is turning ash into pixels, into DNA strands, and sucking them back in as they're being taken away. In your matrix, any type of power structures that you see show up around you, realize you're controlling those power structures. You are. You don't want to be in charge of the company. You just want to be able to utilize the energetic of whatever and whyever it is that they were doing it for use and to clear it and to bring energy. The other thing is that's having to master right now is the feminine and masculine coming into one. And I know that it's happening because now I have 3 couples around me. And it's kind of like I'm doing a little bit of coaching because I understand both now a whole lot better. In fact, I understand the masculine way better than the feminine. But I've had to switch off my masculine to even adjust my feminine, which was a fucking undertaking for me. So what I'm realizing now is that the feminine part of you creates the energy. Now, listen to what I'm telling you. The feminine part of you creates the energy that you build everything on in your world. If you're stuck, but you've been doing, going, having meetings, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. And this is where I've had to train myself, and you can ask anyone on my crew. This is not easy. I have to call them and talk it out with myself, because I feel like I'm not doing it. Why am I waiting? Why am I waiting? Why can I not physically go and do this right this very second? Well, I, from my feminine, knows that I've got to build up energy to do it, or it's a timeline thing that I'm subconsciously is in my system that I just know it's not time. But your feminine is building up the energy current. Your masculine is then running with it. None of us are used to that. We're used to being in a machine, in a matrix, that your feminine energy is just coming to you. I talk about it all the time when I was in the Matrix and I was in corporate, and I was corporate Barbie Christie in that world. And the amount of things that we used to be able to do in one day just blows our mind now, does it not? Like, how did we do all that in one day? Whenever we activate it into our full energetic form, it's like shit. Our energy spread out all over the place. Our consciousness is connected all over the place. Our body is usually the last one that's getting the message, and then there's periods of time that we can't even shower and do this and do that. I mean, and it's like it comes to a point in all this where it's like you're having to build up the energy and the faith to just fucking get up, take a shower, and keep going. Because it's had to back out so much, but that's because the feminine creates the current. Your feminine, there's a new medium to this. Now the good news is for everybody who's in relationships, you're going to get to see this mirror full on. You're going to get to see and learn from each other and mirror full on and perfect your recipe of whatever that is, even shifting back and forth. There's always going to need to be a feminine energetic that's standing still. I've for a minute. I've talked about this before. Being trained to be in a union with a divine masculine that holds a lot of power, like an emperor or a king. And this is a lot of even the feminines in Hollywood, and I call them the 22s. They're tuned, like they know all this stuff. They need to come teach us. Like they know, like that was their job. Their job was just to hold space while they go build. Well, in that type of relationship now, it's like I know that when I come into union with whoever that is, we both have big missions. But we can't do them both at the same time, especially not out of the gate. Especially not out of the gate, like in the very beginning. There would have to, because we're not used to each other's energy. We don't know how it manifests. We don't know which one of us is good at this and better at this, and There's all these everything is being rediscovered in all of our relationships now that we know all these little in between pieces. So for me, it's an analogy is that both of you can't be running all the time because one is gonna, and this is just masculine and feminine in its own, in a couple, you're getting to where you're gonna have to manage it just within yourself. However, the one who's doing the masculine stuff needs a damn break. The one who's doing the feminine stuff needs her masculine sometimes to pull her even out of it, the etherics, a little bit, and kind of like make her do more 3D things to keep that connection. Because you can get way too far out in the etherics to where you can't pull the masculine piece back in. And you need to be training each other of how you're doing the little in-betweens in between and communicating the whole time. And this is not what we're used to in relationships. And we're not used to this in relationships at all. And it's been to the detriment of each party. Am I correct? The feminine side of you is going to hold a larger bubble. It's also going to know when danger is approaching. It's also going to feel the shadow coming a mile away. However, when the feminine is involved in the day-to-day details of it all, it's much harder to read that specific energy. If you need the feminine energy involved in the building of whatever it is, then that communication is 100% necessary and is all you really have to do at this point in time, because it's the only thing that wasn't being done. The feminine wasn't getting any accolades for holding the space and doing everything else. But that's you too, if you happen to be the masculine in this analogy. The feminine energy is sacred. The feminine energy takes a lot to build up, and it'll keep running for a really long time. You just got to water it. It's like a plant. It's a plant within you, or if you are lucky enough to have one around you. And if you're a feminine and you are lucky enough to have that masculine around you, realize that you're in it together. And the masculine, and even if they seem to be unconscious, even if they just go along with it because they love you, but they think you're nuts. What we're called to do right now is to start communicating more with those 3D energies from the masculine side so that the feminine can show and transmute to deliver now. And it's all set to do it because for mass awakening, for the safety of humanity, because the masculine witnessing it is the only way he's ever gonna get it. Scorpio is our friend when it comes to this. Scorpio is our friend whenever you are at least conscious enough to realize that energetically you might be tuned to some shit that you might need to sidestep, which we all are. There's 30 on here. I'm so happy to see more people on. I'm wrong. I don't know if you're talking to me or not. I've got some different folks on here today. Cassandra stuff's coming up. The whole P. Diddy thing and Cassie. And Cassandra and Cassiopeia being the bound woman, being Andromeda. And then even how Diddy treated Cassie. Because she was basically set up as the one, like the whipping boy, but the entire collective was feeling everything they were doing. Jason, I'm not sure what you want the answer on that. As far as I'm concerned, they're both made from different spells. So I'm not even going to say their name at this point because I'm just so done with it. The more that they run this presidential bullshit, the more it's going to backfire on them because presidential politics isn't even aligned in the codes of what they activated down here in order to control. So as far as, I mean, I know how Kamala Harris is made too. Martha Vineyard was coming up again, the cook and the girl, the Nova Scotia, the girl in the oven, that was a collective thing. Is Hansel and Gretel. It played out. Nova Scotia, that played out at your Walmart because you moved all the mummies of the Egyptians over there up in Nova Scotia and went abracadabra on that shit in 2018. But my team was there to catch some shit. And it all had to do with cash. All right, Ethan. We haven't met before, have we? Have you ever been on any of my videos? Here's what you need to know. You don't want to fuck with me. So I'm going to send it back right now. And if I just happen to catch it and I was wrong, that's fine. I'm not sure what's going on with who all's in my chat today. There's 35 of y'all on, so that's good. We called in the masculine to report to me. So you're getting your information. So if you want to keep your soul and your life and not become digitized, I suggest that you just be nice to me and not think anything bad. And you ain't got to believe any of it. That's fine too. But I am walking karma. So interesting. Y'all are all talking about Kentucky distillation right now, right? So so is this is but this is where the divine feminine would get murdered and drowned in every dimension. That's why I brought up Martha Vineyard. What popped up in Martha Vineyard? A floating cook. Obama cook, did it not? I'd be real careful with this conversation that's playing out on my channel right now. I'm using your brain. And you signed me up to do it. Yeah, you can say the universe speaks to me on every dimension of space and time. Yeah, you can say that. No, no, Martha's Vineyard plural. There's only always one, because there was only one baby that never begun. Abracadabra.